News starts now.
Good evening to you. As we come on the air tonight, Governor Rick Scott filing 3 more election lawsuits. This as the recount is well underway, and in some areas like Palm Beach County happening around the clock. Governor Rick Scott and Senator Bill Nelson battling it out for the Senate seat. A little more than 13,000 votes now separate the two. CBS 12's Nyla Charles live at the Tabulation Center in Riviera Beach tonight. Nyla, the supervisors of elections in both Palm Beach and Broward counties are named in the lawsuits being filed by Scott. What is the reaction there tonight?
Well, Paul, she says what you see here is the answer. Workers will be working 24/7 all week in an effort to make Thursday's 3 o'clock deadline. Over here, they're putting ballots through the machines. Over here at this table, rejected ballots are being recreated with people from both parties overlooking the process so they can be put back through the machines. A race to the finish. Palm Beach County election workers have to recount nearly 600,000 ballots by Thursday, running ballots through machines and checking rejected ballots by hand. Supervisor of Elections Susan Booker is in charge of the entire process.
Some of us haven't been out of this building for a couple of days.
The process has to be repeated 3 times for the gubernatorial, then Senate, then Agriculture Commissioner race. The team is working 24/7 to make the approaching deadline.
We're working as hard as we can because we want to get there.
But now another hurdle. Governor Rick Scott announcing 3 more lawsuits as the recount threatens to tighten his razor-thin lead over incumbent Senator Bill Nelson.
Senator Nelson is clearly trying to commit fraud to try to win this election. That's all this is.
In the first lawsuit, Scott's campaign claims Broward County Supervisor of Elections Brenda Snipes didn't finish counting ballots in time. Scott says in the other lawsuits he will request voting tabulation equipment and ballot records from both Snipes and Booker.
What I think is that they don't like the demographics of my voters and they're trying to impede our process, and so that's just kind of ridiculous.
Senator Bill Nelson agrees.
Clearly, Rick Scott is trying to stop all the votes from being counted, and he's impeding the democratic process.
But Booker says whatever the motive, the work must go on.
My job is to count every vote that I can in a recount and to do the very best I can.
Over here, people from both the Democratic and Republican Party are also on rotating shifts, watching over the process to make sure everything is done correctly. Again, the deadline for the recounts is this Thursday at 3 p.m. statewide. Governor Rick Scott hasn't filed those lawsuits yet, but he says we can expect them in the coming days. Reporting live from Riviera Beach, Nyla Charles, CBS 12 News.
Very busy there on a late Sunday night. Nyla, thank you. The latest lawsuits come after Senator Nelson filed one Friday against the Florida GOP Secretary of State. Before that, Governor Scott filed a pair of lawsuits Thursday with the National Republican Senatorial Committee against the supervisors of elections in both Palm Beach and Broward counties to find out the total number of votes. Scott won both. The recount has voters divided and many on edge, some just wondering if the state could hold the nation captive like it did in the 2000 election. We continue our team coverage tonight with CBS 12's Andrea Marvin, who spoke with both political parties overseeing the recount.
Staffers on one side recounting ballots, volunteers, both Republican and Democrat, sitting across from them to make sure every vote counts.
To make it fair and equitable, both parties are engaged in this process. They all have a stake in this process.
Democrat Debbie Noel says she feels it's her duty to be here.
It's of the utmost importance to be here. This morning, I rolled out of bed, went to the gym, and showed up for democracy.
Volunteers from each party are taking shifts at the Tabulation Center as important races remain close.
We haven't dealt with a recount on this scale in such a long time. People are on edge. We just want to make sure the process is fair.
Michael Barnett, chairman of the Republican Party in Palm Beach County, says the mood remains tense, but oversight is important for transparency and accountability.
We need to know what our elected officials are doing with the ballots, how they're being handled, how they're being counted.
Now they're going to be working around the clock, and they expect this to be a fairly long process. Andrea Marvin, back to you.
Andrea, thank you. A live look like right now in Broward County. You see there the Tabulation Center where the recount of about 700,000 ballots began this morning after a nearly 3-hour delay. One of the counting machines failed to register all of the ballots. Republican officials there monitoring the process wanted all machines to be retested, and county officials agreed. And county by county now, again, Palm Beach County already underway. So is Indian River. Both St. Lucie and Martin counties begin tomorrow, Okeechobee on Tuesday, and the deadline to submit all the ballots for all 67 Florida counties comes on Thursday. Florida Republican Attorney General Pam Bondi now weighing in, blasting the Florida Department of Law Enforcement for not looking into allegations of voter fraud. Some of those claims from Governor Scott. Bondi also sending a letter to the Florida Secretary of State demanding that he report any election irregularities when prosecution, Bondi said, might be warranted. Next up, all eyes on the governor's race. Republican Ron DeSantis declaring victory on election night, while Tallahassee Mayor Andrew Gillum giving his concession speech. Gillum now saying that was premature. He trails DeSantis by more than 33,000 votes. He was in South Florida today telling people the final count isn't done.
We're not going to be shushed. We're not going to be sat down. We are not going to be ignored. We're going to make sure that every single vote is counted in this process.
And CBS 12 is the one to turn to for complete election coverage. The latest on the recounts and a timeline. You can find it all on CBS12.com. Turning now to weather. Tracking the tropics tonight. Can you believe it? Could we be in store for some more wicked weather? Meteorologist Michael Ehrenberg here now. And Michael, what's the likelihood that this new disturbance could actually become the next named storm of the season?
Well, a fairly good likelihood, Paul, it looks like. This tropical wave now 1,700 miles east-southeast of Florida. Thunderstorms getting more and more organized and more numerous tonight around this area of low pressure. 70% chance it becomes the season's next subtropical or tropical storm, and it's likely to do that Tuesday or Wednesday in this red area north of Puerto Rico or north of Hispaniola. The next named storm on the list would be Patty. Top winds right now on Invest 96L at 30 miles an hour, and the system moving west-northwest at 17 miles per hour. Now, some of the computer models are being run on this system, but a lot aren't. And the models that are run move it to the west-northwest, getting dangerously close to the Bahamas, and then hook it to the north and northeast. Hopefully, the cool front coming through our area in an upper-level trough will keep it far from South Florida. We'll keep you posted. Meanwhile, east-northeast flow blowing in some downpours for parts of St. Lucie County and southern Palm Beach County, all due to a frontal system, which is now beginning to move north as a warm front. And that's going to bring us lots of warm air. We'll talk about that, near record heat when that'll occur. And I'll be timing the late week cooler air when I come back with your 7-day forecast.
Lots to talk about, Michael. Thank you. More breaking news right now out of South Florida tonight. The all clear given at Fort Lauderdale Hollywood International Airport after a suspicious package led officials to close the roads in and out of the airport. Deputies found the package outside Terminal 4. You can see their tweet right there. The bomb squad even called in soon after they gave the all clear. Even though the airport was closed for a short time, officials there said travelers should expect flight delays. Tonight, the death toll rising across California as the Camp and Woolsey fires continue to scorch the earth and everything around them. The death toll now at least 31 and about 300 people unaccounted for. Tonight, we head to Southern California as residents there are trying to salvage what they can. Jamie Yuccas now with their stories.
Clouds of thick black smoke have engulfed the picturesque California hillsides. Santa Ana wind gusts started to pick up in Southern California, putting people near the Woolsey fire on edge. More than 83,000 acres have burned, and at least 170 homes were wiped out. Matt Armbruster survived the fire. We met him Friday when he told us he and his dog laid in a creek to stay safe.
And this was all burning.
We met back up with him today.
You're still nervous?
I'm a little nervous about my house.
Armbruster was told to evacuate but didn't. Then, when the fire looked like it was coming for his home, he panicked and headed to that nearby creek.
This brush here is completely filled up high.
He stayed here for almost 2 hours as the fire burned around him.
Did you think you were going to die?
I thought for sure.
This is the concern in these high winds. Just one small hotspot can turn into a much larger blaze.
This is a wind-driven event, and the winds are coming back, as we just said. So everybody needs to remain vigilant still.
John Benedict is with the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department.
Well, I've been evacuated twice, so I totally understand just the heartache and the stress that's involved in the evacuation process.
While firefighters battled on the front lines, they also found themselves fighting a Twitter war with the president, who blamed forest mismanagement. The president of the Association of California Professional Firefighters fired back, calling President Trump's message ill-informed, ill-timed, and demeaning to those who are suffering.
And that was Jamie Eucharist reporting. A crime alert now to pass along. The search for a shooter by Palm Beach County Sheriff's deputies tonight. They said the crime happened along Parkway Court in the Reserve and Park at River Bridge in Green Acres. You see the map right there. Now, a spokeswoman telling us 2 people got into a fight, and that's when one man shot the other. That person airlifted to the hospital. No word right now on his condition or their identities. Another shooting investigation underway tonight. This time, West Palm Beach police say a man was gunned down in his car on 9th Street near North Sapodilla Avenue just before midnight. Sadness there. Police say it happened at a block party. Another man also shot, expected to survive. No word tonight on a motive. Anyone with information on this is urged to call Crime Stoppers. Remembering those who served on this Veterans Day, how President Trump marked the 100 years since the end of World War I. And we take you to one battlefield where the first large-scale battle fought by American soldiers in the war took place. And are you struggling to lose weight? Well, a new study shows spending more time on the scale may actually help. Michael.
And Paul, except for South Florida, the rest of the country is shivering in winter-like chill. When some of this will come our way and how low the temperatures will get when I come back with your 7-day forecast.
Before we head to break, we salute our veterans today and every day. Here at CBS 12, these photos of local veterans sent in to our birth staff. We'll be right back.
CBS 12 News at 11.
President Donald Trump spent his weekend in France attending ceremonies marking 100 years since the end of the First World War. One of the places the president is visiting, Belleau-Wood, the site of the pivotal battle at the end of the war, when American troops held back a German advance that threatened Paris. Full Measure's Cheryl Atkinson recently visited that battlefield.
We met 2 recently retired Marines at Belleau-Wood, Sergeant Major William Fry on the right and Gunnery Sergeant Jason Weed wearing the hat.
This is basically where the Marines crossed into the actual woods of Belleau on June 6, 1918.
The Battle of Belleau-Wood unfolded over 3 bloody weeks in the summer of 1918, with the relatively untested U.S. Marines facing German troops with years of battle experience.
The French were having no luck in driving back the Germans, is that true?
That's correct.
And the Germans were on their way to Paris.
Right.
The Marines were assigned to stop a breakout by the Germans, who were dug into the woods with a new form of weapon, machine guns.
Marines actually basically walked across in formation across the wheat fields in open daylight, as you see right now. And it wasn't until probably about 500 meters out the machine guns opened up and just started going back and forth, just taking them down and just mowing down the wheat field.
The Germans waited until they got close.
Correct. They waited.
Marines in Belleau-Wood, it definitely defined us as who we are today. The warrior ethic, the warrior spirit. Definitely there's not a Marine that's dead or alive today from 1918 till now that doesn't know the price and the significance of what our brothers that fought here have done.
It took the Marines multiple bloody advances over several weeks before they were able to drive out the Germans, preventing a direct attack on Paris. The U.S. lost more than 1,800 men. A measure of just how enduring the U.S.-French connection has grown since the battle. When French President Emmanuel Macron recently visited Washington, he gave President Trump a tree to plant on the White House lawn. The sapling is from Belleau-Wood.
More than 4.5 million Americans served during World War I. 116,000 died or were killed in battle, and 200,000 were wounded. For Full Measure, I'm Cheryl Atkinson.
All right, we've got lots to talk about as far as our weather coming up this work week here in South Florida. We're going to be warm and humid into midweek with a warm front going through tomorrow. Just a few spotty showers and storms And then it gets interesting late in the week with the cool front coming through, shower storms, dropping temperatures, and of course, we can continue to track that tropical wave near the Lesser Antilles, which will probably become Tropical Storm Patty during the week. I want you to take a look at these temperatures across the country, teens, 20s, and 30s. The only area that's not winter-like is here in Central and South Florida, and we're going to stay warm for the next several days because we got a frontal system which is now beginning to lift north as a warm front, and when warm fronts go through, the temperatures go up. So east-southeast winds tomorrow make it warm and muggy. Just a 20% shower chance for tomorrow. Tuesday, warm and muggy with near record heat possible. Now, a weak cool front will move into central Florida on Wednesday, but this is going to buck into the high pressure area and just kind of fizzle out. We're going to have to wait for another front to develop and move into the state on Thursday. And this front will have enough push to give us showers, storms Thursday afternoon, 50 or 60% rain chance. The front finally pushes through. Wind shift into the northwest and north, and the breezy, cooler air will finally come our way for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. In the meantime, ahead of that warm front, actually behind the warm front, near record heat likely for Tuesday. The record high in West Palm's 88. I'm forecasting 87. Could be 88 like some models show, and we'll at least tie the record in Vero Beach at 86. And we'll be warm through Wednesday, above normal through Thursday, and then behind the front, afternoon highs will drop into the mid to upper 70s Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Coolest weather likely in the long range now looks to be Saturday morning, when low temperatures for much of interior Palm Beach County and the Treasure Coast will be dropping into the nifty 50s, with upper 50s and low 60s Jupiter to Boca Raton. So this could be the coolest weather so far this season. We'll keep you posted on that. And a pretty windy week in South Florida. The winds gusting between 15 and 25, maybe up to 30 miles an hour as we head on to Saturday. Meanwhile, on radar tonight, 2 areas of downpours, one area in South Palm Beach County, impacting those of you in Delray Beach, Tropic Isle. It looks like they're streaming in, so more rain to come as we go into the next hour or so. And hello to you on the Treasure Coast, Jensen Beach, Indian River Estates, the Hutchinson Island area getting in, and some shower and downpour activity as well. Out the door on your Monday morning, back to work and school. Sun is up 6:37, and other than a few spotty showers, it will be mild and muggy with temperatures from 70 to 75. Partly cloudy for the rest of tonight. A few quick downpours here or there. You're at 74 for tomorrow, your Monday. Starting your work week, not a bad day, but again, warm and muggy out there with an afternoon high of 85. Rain chance tomorrow, only 20%. In your 7-day forecast, the weekend's always in view. Again, record heat possible Tuesday. We stay warm Wednesday. We begin to drop it for you Thursday. Best chance for showers and storms will be on Thursday. Breezy, cooler with a nice breeze for next Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Enjoy.
Breezy, good. All right, Michael, a health alert to pass along tonight. The key to losing weight may actually be stepping on the scale each and every day. New research from the University of Pittsburgh shows people who weigh themselves on the daily are more likely to lose weight compared to those who don't weigh themselves at all or hardly ever. Experts say some people shouldn't even weigh themselves every day if they obsess about the scale, saying it could heighten their risk for an eating disorder. All right, it is midnight. Good morning. And next, Finn's final from the frozen tundra. The Dolphins looking to enter the bye week with a bang. But could they contain Aaron Rodgers and the Packers? John Evanson with the highlights and reaction next.